So I skipped over extra credit question number 1. We talked about that in class. But extra credit question number 2. So given a non-empty 1D array, create a new array where the elements in the even positions, index 0, 2, and 4, are placed after those in the odd positions, 1, 3, and 5, while preserving the order within those subsets. So in this case, here's an example where you're given 5, 3, 6, 2, and 7. So the odd indexes are, the indexes are 1, 3, and the values are 3, 2. So 3, 2 come first, and then 5, 6, 7. An array of just 1 is just itself. Here, indexes 1 and 3, which are values 2 and 4, come before values 1 and 3, which are in positions 0 and 2. Sorry, that's a little confusing. I should have thought about that. So answer the question by completing the method body below. So it says, get some text in here, right? It's annoying. So we need to create a new array. So create new array. And then I think the way we should solve this is first by fill in the odds, and then fill in the evens, and then return the new array, right? So basically we'll fill in the first half of the array and then fill in the second. So the first thing we need to do is create a new array. So let's call it, it's an int array, rtn equals new int. And how big is it going to be? Well, it's exactly the same size as ARR. So it's going to be arr.length. And then to do this, to keep track of what positions we filled in this new array, let's keep a counter. Call it index 0, right? And we'll start filling in with the odd values. So we're going to start for int I, and we want to start with the odd value, so we're starting at 1, right? Because 0 is not an odd value. And we're going to go all the way up to I is less than arr.length, right? Length. And here we only want to do the odd values, so we're going to skip every other value, every other index. So we're going to do I plus equals 2. And what are we going to do with that? Well, we're going to put it in rtn index equals arri and increment the index. Right? So now, even though we're increasing I by 2 every time, we're only increasing index by 1. So that means when we get out here, right, our index should be about halfway through the array, right? And it's at the next empty position. So now we need to do the same thing with the evens. So here we're going to start with an int j equals 0, right? Because we need to start with the evens at 0. Again, I is less than arr.length. Length j plus equals 2. And actually this should be j. And we're going to do the same thing, right? rtn index. Now it's starting at the middle because we didn't reset the index here, so it's still counting there. arrj and index plus plus. And then we just need to return the new array, right? So we're going to return rtn. And to make it fit inside Well, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. To make it fit in there, we're just going to decrease the font size. Right. And that's your answer, right? So we created the new array that's the same size. We started an index at 0, so we're starting to fill it in from the left. We started putting things in place, first with the odd indexes, and then with the evens, and then return that new array that we created. And that's it. That's the entire problem. And that's the entire midterm. If you have any further questions, feel free to let me know via email or on Piazza, and we could talk about these questions in detail. And if need be, we can set up a Skype meeting and talk about these things one-on-one.